The story of the film begins with the revelation that there is a company that kidnaps people and imprisons them in a horrifying room. The chamber is known as the escape room, and there are a few puzzles in it that need to be answered or the occupants would die. Rich people like to watch and gamble on this game, which makes it popular among them. The only people who made it out of the last escape room were Zoe and her friend. Zoe then made a self-promise to herself that she would catch those awful games and ban them. Zoe and her companion are pictured at the airport. They were on their way to New York to disclose that corporation. Because Zoe senses something is off, she declines to travel by plane, and the two of them manage to flee. They now drive to New York and stay the night in a hotel. The companion of Zoe felt as though he was in the escape room. However, it was all a nightmare and nothing genuine. They go to a location where a robber fled while grabbing Zoe's chain. While pursuing him, they get to a station where the thief escapes, locking them inside a train. There were just 6 persons seated on the train, which made Zoe suspicious. She went to look in the driver's cabin, but there was no one there. They all become frightened when their box pulls away from the train and stops in an empty tunnel since the door was locked. When Zoe's pal tries to unlock the train door, they realize that it is locked and that the business has located them and imprisoned them. The startling part was that the other 4 passengers in the train had previously prevailed in this fatal game. Thus, it is now the champion's game. The current flowed through the train's machinery, preventing them from coming into contact with any iron objects. A child discovers a package beneath a seat that contains towels and the door handle. They use this handle to access the driver's cabin. Inside, they find a token machine that requires them to insert 9 tokens. It reads, "The mistakes on the poster must be found." When they notice that the letter E is absent from a poster, they begin to look for spelling errors. When Zoe discovers that the train has 26 handles in all and that there are 26 alphabets, they must pull the handle for the letter that is missing. They split a large rubber piece that a girl found in a bag so they could pull the iron handles to stop the current. As Zoe pulls a handle, a token emerges, which she places in the token box that follows. They continued to pull the handles of the absent letters, and tokens emerged from them. Pulling handles was also increasing the current. Now a child discovers the final 3 missing letters, but he grips the iron pipe by accident before he can notify anyone. Because of an electric current, he dies. When Zoe notices the word "Welcome back," she informs others about the final 3 missing letters, and her companion quickly pulls the handles. As soon as he inserts the token into the machine, a portal opens, allowing them to leave. They enter a lift that transports them far below the surface, and when it stops, they introduce themselves to everyone. The females were writers, the boys were priests, and the 4th girl was a nurse. As they get out of the elevator, they find themselves in a large escape room. When they had to move into the front door, while passing from this point, the writer girl steps on the land without thinking about it. A laser was fired, but fortunately no one was hurt. They removed the writer girl from the area right away since she stepped on the incorrect tile, which causes the laser to stop. They now have 10 minutes to traverse that road through the door. If they don't, it will close. The laser will terminate them if they tread on the incorrect tiles. After the priest takes a key out of the lollipops, Zoe walks across the counter and toward the lockers. After discovering a key, the writer and the nurse proceed to unlock the locks. The body of Zoe notes a number on each lock, but one has a name inscribed on it. They begin to unlock the lock, and as it does, several jagged diamonds emerge, cutting Zoe's finger as she touches it. After a time, an ATM light turns on, and the girls notice that the lock has empty notes in it. They immediately want the code. The buddy of Zoe knows that if he pours Zoe's blood on the notes, he might receive the code, but as the nurse approaches the counter to hand the notes, the laser goes on, and the nurse trips and collapses out of fear. As she collapses, the laser also goes off. The priest hands Zoe the notes, and when they splash blood on them, they receive the code. 3 clocks actually stop at different times as he enters the code into the ATM. This served as a hint for them to go to the appropriate tiles. The minute's needle indicated the number of steps they needed to take, and the hour needle indicated which way they needed to go. The needles indicate that the priest takes 12 steps. He was sticking lollipops on the tiles behind so that everyone would know which way to go. However, he had to use needles to cross the halfway path because as soon as the next tile was touched, another locker appeared in front of him and a riddle appeared on the tile he was standing on. They begin to discover that the code used to unlock the locker is panicked. They are running out of time, but the priest moves forward, trusting in God despite others' prohibitions, which he disobeys. He steps on the wrong tile, triggering the laser, hitting a table with his head and passing out. The writer has solved the puzzle, which is why she keeps adjusting the locker's handle. The girls withdraw his foot off the incorrect tile, and the laser stops. This time as it opens, a map emerges, and Zoe lays it on a drawing on the wall to reveal the alternate route. Zoe pauses here, directing others to the next route before they depart, carrying the unconscious priest with them. Zoe rushes over to the door as well. They've now traversed 2 escape rooms when she leaves just in time to avoid the door closing. In the third escape room, the priest also realizes his mistake and they proceed. It was designed to resemble a seashore. The writer spots a camera, picks it up, and snaps a photo. They see a boat in the photo, but nothing is in front of them, which is why they begin looking for the boat. From the trash, Zoe's friend finds a tool that allows them to locate iron objects, and by using it, he discovers the boat everywhere. Zoe discovers 2 statues in this location, one of which has shells placed over its strange-looking eyes. The tool makes noises in the sand, so they dig a hole and remove a large object that is rope-tied. However, the rope breaks easily, and the sand quickly engulfs the broken rope. The priest leaps into the sand while tying a rope around his waist as they see the sand is becoming into a bog in which the nurse is entangled, and eventually the sand engulfs her. He rescues the nurse, but as a result of the rope breaking again, he is caught in the sand and dies. They relocate into a cabin because the sand was becoming a marshy place, but as soon as they enter, they realize that the refrigerator is where the exit is. The outer building's light turned on when Zoe hit a button on the fridge, but they need to find a code to access it. She proceeds through the stairs on the other side of the building, understanding that they will find the next clue upstairs. Through her binoculars, Zoe reads a message that says, "I can't see you," but the spelling of C is incorrect. It should say C. She shouts this clue to everyone and then goes downstairs where she sees a round door. Zoe's companion sees the door and immediately rushes to the statue with the shells on its eyes, barely taking the shells off. They can actually depart from here when he opens the refrigerator because it was truly the fridge code. Zoe takes out the circular door, revealing a hidden passageway. She realizes that if they go inside, they will lose the game. She phones several others, and aside from the writer, her friend, and the nurse who moved toward her, because they trusted her, they were going upstairs via the stairs. The nurse went upstairs, but before Zoe's buddy could go upstairs, the stairs shifted inside. Zoe feels horrible to see him buried in the sand after falling. They now arrive at a location by a secret passage. To go outside, they locate a ladder. When they emerge through the ladder, they realize they are on a road when they notice nearby cars. This indicates that they had exited the game in real life, although nothing akin to this existed. The author immediately informs them that they are in the 4th escape room and that there will be acid rain every minute. We must enter the store to escape, but it is locked. The writer turns over and discovers a key. She uses it to unlock the lock and climbs the shutter, only to discover another door in front of the business. As the allotted time runs out, acid rain begins, but a cover appears, saving them. The rain then stops, and the 1-minute timer begins again. Zoe claims that if we gather the acid, we can melt the lock and open the door as the phone rings inside a locked box. When the allotted time runs out, the rain returns and they stand beneath the cover as the nurse locates a bottle that won't burn when exposed to acid. When the rain stops, they use the acid they've gathered to melt the lock, allowing the door to open. Zoe answers the phone, but no one answers. She then learns through a poster about a car, which she believes to be their next clue, and she begins examining it. As the time runs out, she realizes that the car door is locked. The girls give Zoe their umbrella as the rain begins. After Zoe manages to avoid burns from the acid, Zoe asks the nurse to allow the phone to ring 3 times before answering it after noticing 3 rings on a poster. Because of this, the nurse follows suit. The automobile door opens, and Zoe gets in it right away. The girls attempted to enter the car after it had stopped raining, but the door was locked and the phone box's door automatically closed. When Zoe saw this fatal scenario, she screamed since she was powerless to stop them. The cover was also dragged inside, leaving them with no other option and causing them to burn to death from the acid rain. As this is going on, the seat opens and Zoe leaves the room. Inside, he finds some of Sonia's childhood belongings. Then Amanda comes in and makes love. Joe was excited to see her. Then Amanda tells her Sonia is his own daughter and she is imprisoned by the game master, and it is the game master who gave her asked to make a game, and now the game master wants So to make the next game, and if So doesn't, then the one she loves will be killed by the game master. She explains that Ben is already dead, but Amanda says that what you don't see is what you don't understand. And then we see Ben still alive, but So still refuses to make the game. And as she says so, Ben's chamber starts leaking water. When the water starts to seep in, we see that there is metal around it. She finds a glass pipe which she sets on fire. All metal due to fire, it melts and the glass of Ben's chamber also breaks and they escape from there. Now in front of him we see that the water that was coming out of the chamber is going towards a wall. People were freed from this dangerous game. So gives her statement to the police and shows all the evidence, and after the evidence So sees, the police start looking for the game master, and now we see Zoe and Ben on a plane. But then on the plane Zoe sees a woman who looks exactly like her doctor, and this lady has the same pen diary and bag that the doctor had. Then all the oxygen masks on the plane open. Hay and Zoe realize that she has become a part of a game again, and the movie ends with the same suspense.